Diego had cleaned the academy for 5 nights. His pay stub listed 2. In the loading hall, he counted the same bills while bleach mixed with onions from the diner next door. A red notice gave him until morning to settle his rent. Across the gym, their paper hours sat in a locked file on site. The contractor would take it at 9. Lena had 3 hours to copy those pages without tipping Vale, losing entry, or costing 6 jobs. Then Ryan arrived with cameras, sponsor cash, and a crowd eager to see a worker break. He saw a woman with a mop and an easy spectacle. Lena saw time, evidence, and a choice that could protect the crew or expose the life she had hidden. Before Ryan could turn her need into entertainment, she had to decide whether his wager was one more threat or the only opening left. "Maybe the rest comes Friday," he said. He tried to fold the envelope before Lena could study it. Diego had 2 sons and a landlord who no longer accepted promises. Lena pulled a small notebook from her pocket. "Read me the dates." "You already filed the claim." "The claim has the digital schedule. I need what you actually worked." Diego looked toward the service door. Their supervisor, Cole Varden, made unannounced visits whenever someone questioned payroll. He said anyone talking to the labor office loses every building on the route. "Then don't talk to them. Talk to me." One by one, the crew came into the corridor between assignments. Marisol had lost 21 hours. Glenn's Sunday premium had disappeared. Ruth showed Lena a pharmacy receipt and the text she had sent Cole after choosing half a prescription because her check was short. None of them delivered a speech. They named dates, clock-in times, and doors they had locked after the last gym member left. Lena wrote each fact down. The missing pay across 6 workers came to just under $10,000. The digital records said otherwise. Cole controlled those. The physical sign-in sheets did not. At 6:15, Lena wheeled a gray bucket past reception. Ava, the evening receptionist, was sorting membership waivers behind the polished desk. She did not look up when Lena passed. "Binder is back," Ava murmured. "Bottom shelf." Cole called. "He wants it ready for pickup at 9. Lena wrung out the mop. Dirty water curled through the metal press. "Can you leave the cabinet unlocked? The manager has the key now." Across the lobby, Mr. Vale stood beside the office door with the brass key clipped to his belt. He watched Lena pause and tapped his wrist as if she were already wasting his money. "Floor first," he called. "Guests are arriving." Lena pushed the bucket on. Ava slid a blank membership form to the edge of the desk. On its back, she had written a cloud folder address. Lena tore away the strip while wiping the counter and tucked it into her sleeve. The formal wage claim had been open for 19 days. The investigator had asked for original time records, not recollections, not photographs of altered payroll screens. Cole knew it. His 9 o'clock pickup was not routine filing. Once the binder left the academy, 6 families would be arguing against numbers that had already been rewritten. Lena's phone rested in the deep pocket of her work pants, with its camera silent and its flash disabled. She could photograph the pages if Ava got the binder open. She could not force the cabinet, confront Vale, or give Cole a reason to remove the whole crew before 9. Her route through the gym had to remain ordinary. Ordinary became difficult when Ryan Cole arrived with 4 cameras, 2 ring lights, and a sponsor representative carrying an aluminum case. Ryan had received his black belt the previous month. Since then, he had treated the academy as a private studio. He filmed sparring partners without warning, cut their worst seconds into clips, and spoke of attention as if it proved character. His sponsor paid for outrage. Each time the live audience climbed, Ryan grew louder. The crew had been told to clear the center floor for his broadcast. Lena moved equipment cases away from a fire exit. Diego taped down a power cable. Marisol wiped footprints from the edge of the mat, while Ryan rehearsed an introduction about discipline and elite standards. He stopped twice because a cleaner crossed the background. "Can they vanish for 20 minutes?" he asked Vale. Vale did not answer Lena or the others. "Service corridor, now." Lena looked at the clock above reception. 8:38. From the corridor, she would lose sight of the binder and the cabinet key. "The floor is still wet by the west ropes," and she said, "Someone will slip." Ryan glanced toward her, "Then dry it, quietly." He returned to the camera, but a producer beside the ring light whispered that the viewer count was flat. Ryan tried a speed drill, then he broke a practice board and waited for the comments to surge. The producer shook his head. Lena guided the mop along the edge of the broadcast without entering its frame. Each pass carried her closer to reception. Ava had begun checking drawers, creating the appearance of searching for a waiver. Vale was occupied with the sponsor representative, who wanted written permission to use the Academy logo. Ryan noticed Lena again when his cameraman stepped backward into her bucket. Water slapped over the rim and spread beneath one polished shoe. "Cut!" Ryan snapped. "Cable crossed her path," Diego said from the wall. Ryan turned on him. "Did I ask the help for an explanation?" Lena put the mop between the spill and the electrical strip. "Move the light 6 inches. There was no challenge in her voice. That made Ryan hear one. His cameraman kept recording as Ryan walked toward her, smiling the way he did before he embarrassed a novice. "You run the room now? I keep people from falling. Move the light." The producer glanced at the live counter. Numbers were rising. He gave Ryan a small nod. Ryan lifted the cable with one foot and dropped it into the water. Lena caught it against the mop head before the plug slid after it. Diego reached for the power strip. Ryan blocked him with an arm. "Relax, she has it. Professionals, right?" Lena unplugged the strip at the wall, dried the cable with a clean cloth, and handed it to the cameraman. It was a practical correction, completed without hurry. The crowd had expected flustered apologies. Instead, Ryan had been made to wait while a worker fixed his mistake. The comments climbed faster. "Get both of us," he told the cameraman. He stepped into Lena's path and asked what a person earned for cleaning other people's sweat. She tried to pass. He mirrored her. When she moved left, he moved left. When she turned the bucket, he planted a designer shoe against one wheel. "I asked you a question. And I have work. That's the problem, no ambition." Behind him, Ava had the cabinet key. Vale had left it on the desk while signing the sponsor release. Ava opened the lower door by the width of 2 fingers. Lena saw the brown spine of the payroll binder. She needed Ryan facing away from the desk for another minute. "What would ambition look like to you?" Lena asked. Ryan brightened. He mistook the question for surrender. Taking a chance, earning something instead of complaining. "How much?" The sponsor representative looked up from his paperwork. Ryan followed his gaze to the aluminum case, then waved for it. The representative hesitated, but the live count had doubled since Ryan cornered the sweeper. He opened the case and removed a banded stack of $100 bills intended for prizes throughout the campaign. Ryan fanned the money under the lights. $10,000. You step on that mat and hit me once, it's yours. Hand, foot, whatever you've got. One clean touch." Laughter moved through his entourage. A few gym members stopped training. The camera came close enough for Lena to see her own reflection in its dark lens. At the desk, Ava slid the binder onto her chair and opened it below the counter. Her phone appeared in her hand. Lena gave Ryan nothing to cut into a frightened reaction. She looked at the bank bands, then at the sponsor representative. "Is that prize registered to this broadcast?" "It's real money," Ryan said. "That wasn't my question." The sponsor representative crossed his arms. "It's an authorized promotional fund. Held by whom after I agree?" Ryan laughed toward the camera. "She thinks we're going to steal it back." "You are asking a worker to enter a recorded physical contest," Lena said. "I am asking who holds the funds, who defines contact, who can end the contest, and who owns the recording." The laughter thinned. One of the older coaches near the heavy bags lowered his arms. These were not excuses. They were the questions Ryan should have answered before issuing the dare. Vale returned from the office and saw Ava standing too straight behind reception. She closed the cabinet with her heel, leaving the binder hidden on the chair beneath a folded Academy sweatshirt. "What is going on?" Vale demanded. "Your cleaner wants to fight me for 10 grand, Ryan said. "I have not agreed to fight anyone," Lena replied. Vale's jaw tightened. Then get back to work. Cole is coming for the payroll file. And I won't have him hearing that his staff disrupted a sponsor event. The words landed in front of witnesses. Diego stopped pretending to polish the drinking fountain. Marisol looked from Vale to the binder beneath Ava's sweatshirt. Ryan saw only Lena's face and the sudden interest of his audience. You heard him, Ryan said. Take the money or take your mop. Lena's phone vibrated once in her pocket. Ava had uploaded the first image. Lena looked toward her crew. Diego did not nod for her to continue. He showed her his open hands. The choice was hers. Marisol moved beside him, no longer hiding in the service doorway. Ruth joined them with the pharmacy receipt still folded in her apron. Their presence changed the wager. $10,000 was not an escape for one woman. It was time they had already sold and had not been paid for. She turned back to the sponsor representative. Place the money at reception under documented custody. No one edits or republishes footage of any cleaning worker without written consent. Contact means contact, I initiate. If Ryan ends the challenge before that contact, the prize is payable. Ryan spread his arms. Why would I end it? I haven't finished. His head trainer must also have authority to stop it. If either of you says the word stop before I touch you, the contest ends and the money is mine. The producer leaned close to Ryan. The live chat was moving too quickly to read. Whatever caution he offered was swallowed by Ryan's need to win in public. Fine, Ryan said. Me or the trainer. We say stop, you get paid. You touch me first, you get paid. Otherwise you leave with nothing. Put it in writing. For the first time, Ryan looked away from the camera. The demand had removed the joke from his control. Around them, phones remained raised. Vale waited beside the payroll cabinet, and Lena's pocket vibrated as another page reached the secure folder. She had not stepped onto the mat. She had shown no stance and offered no hint of what Ryan's trainer might see. She simply waited while the sponsor representative opened a blank agreement and discovered that the quietest person in the gym was the only one who had read the danger correctly. The sponsor representative placed a blank agreement on the reception counter and uncapped his pen. Name, Lena Ortiz. He wrote it down, then tried to reduce the wager to one sentence. Lena would have 30 seconds to strike Ryan. She stopped him before the period. Contact I initiate, she said. No one touches me to start the clock. Either Ryan or the head trainer can end it. The word stop ends it before contact, and the prize becomes payable. Ryan leaned over the paper. That is what I said. Then it costs nothing to write it. The sponsor representative added the language. Lena asked him to define custody of the cash, identify the company paying it, and record the serial bands on the 10 bank bundles. Ava turned the front desk camera toward the counter so the deposit would have its own record. The manager, Mr. Vale, objected that his security system was not part of the broadcast. Good, Lena said. It should be independent of the broadcast. Vale glanced at the viewers gathering around the live feed. He did not want the contest, but he wanted even less to appear afraid of documenting sponsor money. He opened the cash drawer beneath the counter and placed the envelope inside without closing it. The representative slid the agreement toward Lena. A paragraph below the prize terms granted the sponsor permanent rights to every face and voice captured in the gym. Lena read it twice. This releases only me, she said. No cleaning worker appears in a replay, clip, advertisement, or thumbnail without separate consent. Ryan drummed his fingers against the counter. Nobody cares about your crew. Then, excluding them should be easy. The producer lowered his camera enough to speak to the sponsor representative. Faces from the utility corridor had already appeared behind Ryan during the live stream. Removing them from later edits would take work. The representative looked at the climbing viewer count, crossed out the paragraph, and initialed the change. Behind the counter, Ava kept her phone below the lip of the desk. Images of the timesheets moved into the secure folder one page at a time. Lena checked the thumbnails without opening them. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Wednesday was missing. So was the sheet carrying Ruth's last 2 overnight shifts. Vale noticed Ava's attention dropping beneath the desk. "What are you doing?" "Checking tomorrow's appointments." "Do it later. Cole is coming for the payroll binder. Put it in my office." Ava placed both hands on the counter. The binder remained beneath the folded Academy sweatshirt on her chair. Lena asked the sponsor representative who would verify the end of the contest if Ryan disputed hearing the trainer. The question drew Vale back to the agreement. Ava used the moment to photograph Wednesday's sheet. "The live recording verifies it," the representative said. "Your company controls that recording. I want 2 witnesses who do not work for the sponsor." Ryan laughed. "Bring the whole city." Lena chose the older coach by the heavy bags and a mother who had been waiting for her son's class to end. Both came to the desk. She did not choose a member of her crew. Their wages already gave them an interest in the result. The coach read the stop clause aloud. The mother wrote her name beneath his. The gym's side door opened. Cole Varden entered wearing a dry wool coat and carrying an empty document case. He managed the cleaning subcontract and rarely visited after dark. Vale had called him. Cole saw the crew gathered near the utility corridor and changed direction toward them. "Why aren't you working?" Diego looked at Lena. Marisol kept one hand on Ruth's shoulder. None of them answered. "The sponsor event blocked our assigned floor," Lena said. "We are waiting for access." Cole's gaze moved from her to the agreement and then to the open cash drawer. "You are not contracted to participate in events. Get your equipment and leave. All of you." If they walked out, Ava would have no reason to remain near the binder. If they refused, Cole could terminate the crew before the missing pages reached the folder. Lena did not raise her voice. "Mr. Vale instructed us to stay until the event clears." Vale started to deny it, but the older coach pointed toward a wet section beside the ring. "She is right, you told them to wait," the mother added, "and I heard you threaten their jobs while the sponsor was filming." Vale's mouth tightened. Contradicting 2 members in front of a live audience offered him no clean exit. He told Cole the crew could remain until the contest ended. Cole stepped close to Lena. "Whatever you think this buys you, tomorrow's route is not guaranteed." "Neither are 6 weeks of missing hours," she said. For the first time that night, Cole's eyes went to the payroll cabinet. Ava took the last photograph and sent the folder link to each crew member. 6 phones vibrated along the utility corridor. The evidence no longer depended on Lena's device or her continued access to the academy. Cole walked behind the desk and lifted the sweatshirt. The binder lay beneath it, closed. Ava had returned every page to its place. He examined the cover, then put it in his document case. There was nothing left for him to erase that the workers did not already possess. Lena felt the pull of the open exit behind her. The wage proof could now support the formal claim. She could leave before the cameras turned her into a permanent search result. The $10,000 was no longer the only path to recovery. She went to the crew instead of the mat. "The pages are safe," she said. "The claim can continue without this. If I sign, Cole may remove us from every building tomorrow. The money could cover the gap. But I cannot promise we win it." Diego read the agreement on her phone. "Can he hit you?" "No contact unless I begin it." Ruth asked, "Can you walk away after you sign?" "Until I enter the marked area." Marisol looked toward Ryan, who had begun narrating Lena's delay as cowardice. "Then walking is still your decision, not ours." The crew did not ask Lena to risk herself for them. That refusal changed the weight of the choice. She was no longer paying a debt imposed by their need. She could decide whether the public agreement offered a useful consequence for the man who had tried to purchase her humiliation. Ruth opened the shared folder and compared her photographed signature with the schedule Cole had emailed that morning. The email erased 2 closing shifts. The paper page showed both, with Vale's initials beside the alarm time. She forwarded the pair to the labor investigator and received an automatic case number. "Now it exists outside this building," she said. Diego did the same with his dates. Marisol wrote down the name of the mother serving as witness and asked whether she would confirm what Vale had said about their jobs. The woman gave Marisol her number. Within minutes, The crew had changed from people relying on Lena's private plan into 6 holders of evidence, each responsible for one piece of the claim. At reception, the sponsor representative had found a new objection. His legal advisor, speaking through the phone, would not authorize a physical contest involving a subcontracted worker unless Lena signed a broad injury waiver. The proposed language released Ryan, the academy, and the sponsor even if one of them broke the no-contact rule. Lena put the pen down. That cancels the rule you just wrote. It is standard protection, the advisor said through the speaker. Then use it for a standard contest. This one ends before contact unless I initiate it. If Ryan touches me first, the event ends and the prize is payable. If anyone changes the boundary after I enter, the event ends, and the prize is payable. Ryan objected from the mat. Now you get paid if I breathe wrong? You get paid to know where your body is, Marcus had once told every student in that academy, though Lena did not say it aloud. She pointed to the written boundary. Stay inside your side until the start signal. The legal advisor removed the broad waiver and replaced it with a narrow acknowledgement of ordinary mat risk. The sponsor representative added disqualification for unauthorized contact. The change did not guarantee Lena the money. It made Ryan responsible for the same restraint he claimed she lacked. Next came verification of the funds. The cash looked real, but the bank bans belonged to 2 different branches, and the sponsor representative could not produce the withdrawal receipt. Lena asked Ava to count the bundles beneath the desk camera. 9 contained 100 bills. The 10th was short by 5. Ryan stared at his producer. The producer admitted that part of the promotional fund had paid a courier that afternoon. It's $500, Ryan said. Nobody is canceling over that. You announced 10,000. The live comments had noticed the count. The sponsor representative transferred the missing 500 into the Academy's merchant account and printed the confirmation. Vale added a cashier's check from the office safe to the envelope. Ava recorded both forms of payment on the agreement. That correction mattered beyond the amount. Ryan could no longer call the wager casual if he lost. Sponsor money, Academy custody, and 2 outside witnesses now connected his public promise to something collectible. Cole watched the procedure from the end of the counter. He offered Lena a different bargain in a voice too low for the broadcast microphone. Leave now, and I put everyone back on next week's route. Keep embarrassing the client and there is no work Monday. Lena asked him to repeat it near the desk camera. He stepped away. Diego had heard enough. He moved his cleaning cart beside Cole's document case, leaving a clear path to the exit, but making it impossible for Cole to carry the binder away unnoticed. Ruth and Marisol joined him. They did not block Cole or threaten him. They simply refused to disappear from the room in which their work was being discussed. Lena looked at the 6 phones holding the records and then at the cash in custody. The evidence could recover past wages months from now. The prize could keep doors open while they waited. Neither justified surrendering consent. That was why every remaining term had to survive Ryan's impatience. At the desk, the sponsor representative added a withdrawal line. No penalty before Lena entered the marked contest area. He time-stamped the escrow deposit and gave copies to both witnesses. Lena added one more condition. If the recording failed, the front desk security feed and witness statements controlled the result. Ryan snatched the pen and signed. Are we done? You are, Lena said. The trainer is not. The head trainer had been finishing a private lesson behind the frosted doors at the back of the academy. Vale sent the older coach to get him. While they waited, Ryan paced beside the ropes and spoke to the stream. Every insult created another second in which Lena could still leave. She used those seconds to check the copied pages with Diego and Ruth. All disputed shifts were present. Dates, signatures, and closing initials matched the notes in her pocket. Marcus Hale came through the frosted doors, fastening the cuff of a plain training jacket. He was in his late 50s, lean from decades on the mat, and impatient with being pulled from a student. Vale handed him the agreement and pointed at the stop clause. Marcus read the page, then looked toward Lena from across the crowded floor. The gray uniform, lowered chin, and harsh overhead light gave him no reason to connect her to another life. To him, she was a cleaner being used for a broadcast he should have stopped earlier. "If I believe either person is unsafe, I can end it before contact?" he asked. "And the prize is paid," Lena said. Marcus faced Ryan. "You obey the first command. No argument." Ryan rolled his eyes but signed beneath him. Marcus signed last. The older coach and the mother initialed the completed page. Ava copied it on the desk scanner and handed one copy to Lena. Vale placed a strip of removable tape around a square of mat near the center ring. Until Lena crossed that line, the agreement allowed her to withdraw. The cash remained in the drawer. The payroll pages were beyond Cole's reach. The crew stood together by the utility corridor, free to leave if they chose. Lena folded her copy once and gave it to Ruth. She set the phone containing the evidence beside it. Then she removed her work shoes and placed them beneath the bench so wet soles would not touch the mat. Ryan bounced inside the taped square, performing impatience for the lens. Marcus stood outside the ropes with the agreement in his hand. Lena remained on the concrete, one pace from the boundary, breathing through the noise and measuring the cost of being seen. The sponsor representative called the time. Lena remained outside the taped square. "You have not entered," the older coach said for the record. "You may still withdraw." Lena looked once at the crew. Ruth held the copied agreement and the phone. Diego stood beside Cole's document case. Marisol had already sent the witness's number to the labor investigator. What happened to the evidence no longer depended on Lena winning anything. She crossed the tape. The act was small, one bare foot, then the other placed on the blue mat. Behind her, the sponsor representative marked the entry time. The mother and the older coach signed beside it. Withdrawal without consequence ended there. Ryan's promise, the Academy's custody, and the stop clause were now active before everyone watching. Ryan lifted his hands and began circling. 30 seconds, he said. One touch. Show them what 10 grand buys. Lena did not adopt a fighting posture. She stood with her arms loose and her feet beneath her hips. The fluorescent lights pressed against her eyes. Rubber soles squeaked beyond the ropes. A phone case clicked against a metal rail. She counted each sound until none of them needed an answer. Ryan made a quick step toward her, stopping on his side of the line the agreement allowed before the start signal. Lena did not retreat. He tried the same movement from another angle and watched her shoulders instead of her eyes. They gave him no reaction to display. "Weak," he said, "just like I told them." Marcus stood outside the ropes with the agreement folded in one hand. He disliked the stunt more with every second, but still saw only a worker refusing to be rushed. Her restraint was unusual. It was not yet recognition. The sponsor representative raised one hand. "Start." Ryan bounced forward with a feint, then back. Lena turned only enough to keep him in view. She did not chase him, and she did not offer the awkward swing he wanted for his clip. The wager required contact she initiated. It did not require her to move on his schedule. He circled again, talking to the camera between steps. Each pass carried him closer to her side, testing whether the written boundary meant anything once the show began. The older coach warned him once. Ryan acknowledged the warning with a wave and kept moving. Ava closed the cash drawer and held the key. Vale protested, but the sponsor representative confirmed that custody had transferred for the duration of the contest. Cole opened his document case, checked the payroll binder, and found all the pages in place. The contest had not erased the wage claim. It had only made his attempt to remove the records visible. Ryan heard none of that. The stream counter had climbed beyond anything he had broadcast that month. He needed a moment dramatic enough to justify it. He stepped into Lena's space and snapped a hand toward her shoulder, stopping short. Lena shifted half a step away. The movement was economical, but it proved nothing beyond balance. Ryan smiled as if he had forced a retreat. "There you are." He repeated the feint faster. Lena let it pass. On the third attempt, he changed direction and drove forward with his weight behind a looping right hand, planning to stop near her face. His heel crossed the line first. His shoulder continued after control of the punch was already gone. Lena moved. Her lead foot opened a few degrees. Her weight settled through the rear heel, and her left hand rose between Ryan's shoulder and her center line, palm open. The other hand remained low, ready to guide his forearm past her without striking. It was a compact teaching posture, built to create space, redirect momentum, and end a mistake before it became contact. Marcus saw the alignment of heel, hip, and open palm. For 5 years, he had remembered that posture from the opposite side of a training room. Lena had used it when teaching senior students to stop force without answering it. She had corrected Marcus's own balance from that position hundreds of times. No one else in his academy placed the rear heel at that angle. "Stop!" he screamed. The word cut across the gym before Ryan reached her. "Ryan, stop!" Ryan checked his step. Lena's open palm never touched him. She lowered it as soon as his weight settled back under him. Marcus entered the square and placed himself between them. He did not bow, kneel, or announce a rank. He looked first at Lena, saw that she was breathing, then faced the sponsor representative. "I am stopping the contest before contact," he said. "Record the time." The older coach repeated the statement. The mother confirmed that neither person had touched the other. Ava saved the front desk camera segment while the producer marked the same moment in the live recording. Ryan looked from Marcus to Lena. "You stopped it because you know her." "I stopped it because you lost control of your approach," Marcus said. "Knowing her tells me I was right to do it." The sponsor representative read the clause aloud. A trainer's stop before contact ended the contest and made the $10,000 payable. He asked Ryan whether he disputed the absence of contact. Ryan watched the replay on the producer's monitor. Lena's palm remained several inches from his shoulder. His own heel crossed first. He could argue with Marcus or with the contract, but not with both camera angles and 2 witnesses. "No contact," he said. Ava opened the cash drawer. The representative endorsed the cashier's check and counted the bundles once more. He placed the envelope in Lena's hands at the reception counter. The contest had lasted less than a minute after entry. What followed would cost longer. Vale demanded to know why Marcus recognized a member of the cleaning crew. The live camera turned toward them. Lena asked the producer to lower it. He hesitated until the sponsor representative reminded him that her release did not include personal history. The lens dropped. Marcus answered only what was necessary. "Lena was my senior instructor. She left 5 years ago." The words reached the crew, the coaches, and Ryan even without the broadcast. Lena's hidden life was no longer hidden inside the academy. Her hands began to shake around the envelope. She gave it to Ruth before anyone mistook the tremor for indecision. "Hold this." Marcus led her to the quiet hallway beside the utility closets. He left the door open and stayed several feet away. The bass from the gym came through the wall as a dull pulse. Lena pressed her palm against the cool concrete and waited until the hallway stopped narrowing around her. "The panic did not end when I left," she told him. "It became easier when no one expected me to demonstrate anything." Marcus nodded. "I should have ended Ryan's stream before you had to choose." "Yes." She did not absolve him to ease the moment. She also did not let the old shame decide what happened next. When her breathing steadied, she returned to the lobby on her own. Cole was waiting with the document case closed. He told the crew not to report to the academy or any other property on Monday. Vale said the gym would request a different cleaning contractor immediately. Neither man used the word retaliation. Marisol held up her phone. "Could you repeat the reason?" Cole walked out without answering. Vale retreated to his office. Their silence joined the recorded threat, the altered digital schedules, and the paper pages already attached to the claim. The crew met the next morning at a neighborhood legal clinic. Lena placed the sponsor envelope on a scarred conference table. An attorney named Priya Shah counted the money with Ruth and explained what the fund could and could not do. Spending all of it as emergency cash might keep 6 households stable for a month, but it would leave nothing to pursue the wage case. Spending all of it on litigation would abandon the people the case was meant to protect. They made the allocation together. 4,000 covered rent shortages, medication, and groceries documented by the crew. 2,500 paid the clinic's filing and evidence costs. The rest remained in a trust account as a wage bridge. Lena signed no check alone. Ruth and Diego became the second and third signatories. Priya compared the photographed pages with Cole's emailed schedules. Vale's closing initials appeared on shifts the digital system claimed had never happened. Ava supplied the unedited security segment showing Cole remove the binder after the copies were sent. The mother and older coach gave statements about the job threats and the contest terms. Cole's company denied altering payroll for 9 days. On the 10th, the labor investigator obtained the academy's alarm records. Each disputed closing time matched a worker's signature. The company agreed to restore every missing hour, pay statutory additions, and preserve records from its other properties for review. The first arrears checks arrived 3 weeks after the wager. Diego paid the notice on his apartment. Ruth filled the prescription she had divided. Marisol used part of her check to replace a tire and returned the wage bridge money she no longer needed. The repayment stayed in the trust for another worker rather than becoming a gift attached to Lena's name. The academy faced its own consequences. Vale was removed from contractor oversight while the board reviewed the recorded threats. The sponsor suspended Ryan and required the full, unedited stream for its inquiry. Ryan lost the campaign that had rewarded his provocations. He was not expelled from training. Marcus required him to attend without cameras and to assist with equipment and cleaning before he could teach again. On his first evening back, Ryan found Diego replacing disinfectant bottles in the utility room. He moved aside without being asked and carried a case to the storage shelf. There was no apology designed for an audience. Diego did not offer forgiveness. The work was simply done without contempt. Lena did not return to the academy as an instructor. Bright rooms, crowded mats, and raised voices still tightened her chest. Marcus offered private hours and accepted her refusal. Months later, when the wage case had stabilized, she agreed to one smaller possibility. The cleaning crew borrowed a community room on Sunday mornings. No mirrors covered the walls. Phones remained in a box by the door. Lena began with breathing, distance, and the right to leave. Only after everyone could name the nearest exit did she show them the open-handed posture Marcus had recognized. Ruth tried it first and placed too much weight on her front foot. Lena adjusted her heel with the edge of her own bare foot. "You do not need to look dangerous," she said. "You need room to choose." Outside, traffic moved past without slowing. Inside, Lena set the old industrial broom against the wall, corrected one quiet stance, and stayed in the room because no camera and no applause had claimed the choice from her.